Okay, so today we're going to be installing a Nitrous Express mainline kit on the F100 along with a few other components. So this is Nitrous Express's standalone fuel system here. I'll put a link to which one it is, but the tank is designed to go where a battery would sit. Especially, you've got a relocated battery, so your battery tray's open. Comes with a pump, regulator, some stickers, but doesn't come with any fittings for the pump, which is pretty annoying. It has the fittings for the regulator, but not for the pump. And then this is a mainline system that I've had for about 10 years. I had it on a previous 70s pickup. I ordered a new bottle. My bottle is currently expired, but you can get it recertified, not a big deal. But I wanted to mount it inside the cab. So in order to do that, you need a blow-off tube, which is this right here. In order to mount a blow-off tube to your mainline tank, you need to take out this fitting here, and then there's a little blow disc that goes inside there. And they no longer make that disc for this valve. So I would have had to get this recertified and upgrade this mainline valve for the lightning valve, which I didn't have time to do in the 3 days before we go racing. So tomorrow we leave to go racing. I figured great time to start to install a nitrous kit, especially when, fittings like these are not available anywhere close to me. So we'll have to sort that out. Yeah, other than that, pretty basic setup. The mainline kit just comes with the plate, the solenoids, basically the cheapest way to add nitrous to your vehicle. However, it doesn't come with any of the safety features. So I also purchased a fuel pressure switch, so it'll not spray the nitrous if there's not adequate fuel pressure, and then a wide open throttle switch. I had this gauge laying around, then just a couple of plumbing things in case I need them. My jets for different horsepower amounts. So let's get into it and see what we're missing. Okay, so my plan is to move my MSD box up. I cut off the stud for the factory jack, put that fuel tank here, put the fuel pump here somewhere, and then pull the carb off. I might have to swap out carb studs because the plate goes below the carb, so you might need longer studs. I'll have to see when I get that far. Get that all in and we'll go from there. So I was able to get both solenoids on the plate to work. The fuel one was sticking, but I took it apart, wiped it out, and seemed to be back in business. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the plate install. Okay, so I got some gaskets. I reset up the plate. I also checked the jet sizes. Okay, so the install's all complete. I figured it'd probably take about 4 hours. I got almost 8 into it, so about double, which is about normal for every good project. Nitrous line runs down along the frame rail and then into the cab. You can see the nitrous cylinder in the back, fuel solenoids on the front. This is the wide open throttle switch. I've had this bracket on here for my double return spring, so this is Nitrous Express's universal wide open throttle switch setup. So I just bent the mount at a 90, and then I put a little bolt here in the side of the carb linkage, so when the carburetor hits just over 3/4, it'll click that on. So, and it doesn't seem to bind on anything, so we'll see how it is in actuality, but it seems good in testing. And then the fuel line's kind of ugly, but it is what it is. Do have a full standalone fuel system for the nitrous. So this is a Nitrous Express standalone fuel system as well. Fuel pump into a regulator. I put the fuel pressure safety switch right on the regulator. We'll see if that works. I don't know why it wouldn't. So this is on the ground side of the system. And I'll show you the wiring over here. So here's the relay for the nitrous. There's a wire to the battery, there's a ground, and then there's a wire that runs from the activation switch in the cab, and then one wire that goes to the solenoids. So from the cab activation switch, it's run to the wide open throttle switch, and then into the relay, and then out of the relay it goes to the solenoids. So 2 safety features, the wide open throttle switch, and then the low fuel pressure is on the ground side of the solenoids. So the solenoid ground wires go together, and then they go over to the low fuel pressure switch and then to ground. So if there's not adequate fuel pressure, there's no ground, and there will be no opening of the solenoids. This is a returnless regulator, so there's no return, it just deadheads, which isn't the best, but I think it'll be fine for this application. We're probably never going to go over 200 horse. In the cab, so this is the activation switch, turns on the system. The fuel pump switch will be right here. That's what these wires are hanging down for. They'll go into the fuel pump switch. If I don't have the 2 switches tied together, that's the only thing I don't know. I wanted to do differently, but I didn't want to put in 2 relays. So no matter what though, if I arm the nitrous system and there's not fuel pressure, it won't spray. So it does have that safety built in. Then line locks down there. So spray the nitrous, turn fuel pump on, turn the activation switch on, and then when you hit wide open throttle, it'll automatically open the solenoids. The bottle itself is mounted behind the seat. I gotta tie up the extra line, but it does have the blow down tube because it's mounted inside the cab. It needs to have that. If the bottle was to get excess pressure, that'll burst a little plate and blow the nitrous down out of the cab. Right when I was finishing the install, of course, I found that for a vertical installation, you're supposed to rotate it 90 degrees of what I have it. But it is where it is, and I'll just keep the bottle full, I guess.